Good morning. Good morning and welcome to our yoga practice. We are getting ourselves set up and settled in. Rolling out our mats, making our space. We've got at least 2 minutes before we get going, so a nice amount of time to grab what you may need and to start coming into your space. So as you roll out your mat and come into your space, you can invite in gentle movements, trying to explore the body, or you could sit quietly, trying to center the mind. Kind of use this time as you see fit for what's serving you today. And we are going to begin in child's pose if you wanted to head that way already. Another minute or so before we get going. Just making our way onto the mat, settling in. If you like to have blocks nearby or a bolster, definitely keep those within arm's reach so that you have them accessible. Not needed, not going to call anything with them today, but just if you like to have them in your practice. We're slowly coming into the space, making our way toward the back third of the mat. About that time. So as we find our way toward that back third of the mat, we're going to set up in child's pose. Toes touching or near one another. Knees can be near one another, or you can take them wide to the edges of the mat to create a little extra space for your body to melt down into. And then we'll lower the torso, belly to thighs or belly to that space between thighs. The arms are overhead, palms in the mat. If that isn't serving you, you could bring the hands in and make a little pillow for the forehead, maybe with fists or palms. A variety of variations. As we settle in here, draw the awareness to the mat. Notice the foundation beneath you. Allow the body to relax a bit more. Maybe that's a softening through the shoulders, the settling of the hips as you find a little ease throughout the body. Taking little mental notes of how you're feeling so that you can honor your body as you move through the practice, offering support where needed. And if you'd like to set an intention for class, something positive that's speaking to you this morning, I welcome you to do so. That can be a nice way for the mind to stay connected as well when it starts to wander off. That little thought that draws us back, that gives us focus. Could be courage, could be compassion, whatever's speaking to you. With our belly on our thighs or between them, it's a little hard to take really full breaths, but notice if you're taking really shallow ones. If you are, allow the body to deepen the breath as much as you can here in this shape, matching the length of your inhales to the length of your exhales, and then holding on to that rhythm as we move through the practice. If the head is resting on the hands, go ahead and stretch the fingers overhead. If the head is on the mat, create a little space. And we'll gently walk the hands over to the right. A little shift of the body. As we melt down, we're creating a big stretch through the left ribs. Hips stay settled. Then we walk the hands back through center and journey to the left. Settle into the shape. Torso is resting. Come back to center. Inhale as we lift up, and we'll find a tabletop somewhere near the middle of the mat. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees as best you can. A nice solid base. Spread the fingers wide. The tops of the feet are down. The gaze is at the mat as we have a long spine. As you set here, notice if you're letting the heart collapse down toward the mat. If you are, gently draw it up. Engage the shoulders. And then we'll inhale to drop the belly and lift the gaze. Exhale as we round, arch the back. Inhale, lower. Exhale, arch. And continue these cat-cows at your own breath pace for a few rounds. Those nice full inhales, full exhales. Movement and breath synced up. We'll take one more full round here before meeting back at our neutral spine. From our neutral, we'll make a little C shape as we shift the hips to the right and glance over the right shoulder or around the right shoulder. And then the opposite side. A little extra space through the ribs. Back to center. Walk the hands away as you lower down. Come to the belly, chin to the mat, hands under shoulders. The tops of the feet are connected to the mat. Elbows are tucked in toward the body. We'll inhale up, chin and collarbone, little baby cobra. Try to lengthen the spine. Exhale as you release. Take a breath. Inhale, baby cobra. Engaging our back muscles here to help us lift. The hips are connected down. The tops of the feet stay connected down. And we're not putting too much weight in the hands here. Exhale as you release. Take a breath. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, release. We'll bring the hands next to the chest As we press up and back, child's pose for one breath. Inhale back to tabletop. Find that nice neutral starting place. We'll shift the weight to the left hand slightly as we lift the right and flip it over. The back of the hand goes into the mat. The fingers are toward the body. Nice stretch for the wrist and the forearm. Try to curl the fingers in and release. We'll unwind, shake that hand out, replace it in the mat. Shift the weight slightly to the right as we flip the left hand, then recenter. Not putting too much weight back on the left. Be very mindful of how the wrist is feeling. Try to curl those fingers in, making a little fist with the left hand as best you can. And release. Unwind that hand, shake it out, place it back in the mat, our neutral tabletop. Step the right toes back. The ball of the foot is in the mat as we press back through the heel. Nice stretch through the calf. And find a little ease as you fly the right foot. Core is engaged. Back body is strong. Left hand lifts. Bicep near the ears. We reach the left hand forward, our balanced tabletop. Imagining a long line through the body. We'll lower the left hand, bring the right knee forward as we scoop the belly and plant the right foot near the front of the mat. We're in our low lunge. So take a moment here to find your foundation to really set up the shape from the ground up. We want the feet on skis, so a little space between the legs. Toes are forward, knee is stacked or slightly behind the ankle, and the hips are sitting low as we draw the gaze forward. Hands are on the mat. You could bring hands to thigh if you prefer. Sometimes that takes a little more stability. It can be a nice variation. The hands are on the thigh. Go ahead and bring them back to the mat. So we shift the hips back, rotate on the right heel, coming into a hamstring stretch. Sit the hips back only as far as your body wants, being mindful of how the back of the right leg feels. Scan from heel to hip. Maybe you keep a little micro bend in that knee. And then shift forward. Right foot replants on the mat. We bring the right hand inside right foot and heel toe that foot to the edge of the mat, setting it at about a 45-degree. If you have really long legs, that foot may go all the way off the mat. We come into our lizard lunge, a deeper stretch for our hips. Hands are on the mat, helping support us. Hips sit low. Each exhale helps you dive a little deeper into the shape and a little more ease. Maybe that's softening the toes. Maybe that's a little release through the thigh. One more breath here. Heel toe the right foot back to its starting place as you frame the foot with the hands. We'll curl the left toes, lift off of that knee, runner's lunge. Gaze is at the mat. We'll drop the back foot to 45. Find our foundation as we lift up. Make any little adjustments you need to as we square the hips to the short edge of the mat. Inhale the arms up, our warrior one. The arms are in that V shape, palms shining toward one another, fingers toward the sky. Shoulders drop away from the ears. Both feet are firmly rooted down on the mat. We'll release the hands, rotate onto the ball of the back foot. Bring hands down to mat. Step the right toes back, high plank. You can lower to the knees here if you like. With control, elbows tight to the body, we move through chaturanga to the belly. Uncurl the toes, inhale up, finding your cobra. Exhale as we release down. We'll go heels to hip, or hips to heels, child's pose. Take a breath. Inhale to tabletop. Find your neutral. That strong starting place as we step the left toes back. Press through the heel. Nice stretch through the calf. You probably already felt it in that warrior one. And then find some ease as you fly the left foot. Toes are down to the mat. Try to keep the hips square to the mat as well. Press through the heel. Draw the right arm up. Keep the core engaged. Back body is strong. Continue to breathe. We'll lower the right hand to the mat. Scoop the belly as you bring the left foot forward. Try not to scrape it on the mat, though that might happen. As we find our low lunge. Again, start at your foundation. Make the space, settle in, check that bone stack to protect our joints. And then draw awareness to the hips, that connection to the front of the leg. Nice steady breath. Allow your body a little time to open, settle. We hold the shape. Your mind may wander away from the mat. Maybe jumping to the next thing or contemplating something outside of the practice. And that's all right. Just gently draw the mind back. Ask it to be present with you. Maybe touch back into that intention. We gently shift the hips, pressing them back. Heel of the left foot stays connected to the mat as we invite in a nice stretch for the left hamstring. Keeping the mind present, this awareness of the body and the breath can help us dive a little deeper into our practice and also help protect us against some accidental injuries as we move mindfully, aware of how the body is feeling and can respond to it and honor it. Walk the hands forward as the left foot reconnects down to the mat. Left hand comes inside as we heel toe that foot to the edge. Our lizard lunge. Nice deep stretch for the hips. Long spine as you settle in. Take the gaze forward. A little softness through the feet. Allow that to move through the legs to the hips. We'll start to heel toe the left foot back to its starting place. To frame that foot with the hands, we'll curl the right toes, lift off of that knee. Take a moment here in our runner's lunge. Feeling that nice strength and support. Back foot goes to 45 as we gently lift up. Make any little adjustments. Start at that foundation. Draw the arms up. As you come into your warrior one, notice if you're really leaning backward or forward. Try to find that nice neutral place right at the center. Open heart. Maybe invite in a little smile here as we invite this uplifting posture into the practice. On an exhale, release the hands. We'll interlace them behind the body. Draw the knuckles down, nice open heart. And we'll go humble warrior, left shoulder toward left knee. Press into that left foot as you lift up. Release the hands. We'll come onto the ball of the back foot. Give a little rock. Step the right foot forward. Big step back with the left. Planting at that 45. Swapping the legs out. Arms out and then behind the back. Interlace them together. Draw the knuckles down. Humble warrior, opposite side. With control, right shoulder toward right knee. The belly might rest on that thigh. It might float inside of it. We're not hanging out here long. Nice strong core as we lift up. Release the hands, rotate onto the ball of the back foot. Little rock and step it forward. We'll find our Tadasana somewhere near the front third of the mat. Feet about hip width together. You can go toes together, heels together, yogi's choice. We stand tall. Inhale the arms up. Exhale as you forward fold. We'll take a breath here. Engage the core as we come to half lift, that 7 shape. Exhale as you release. Plant the hands. Step one foot back and then the other, our high plank. You can lower to the knees if you like. Move through chaturanga to the belly. Uncurl the toes as you inhale up to your cobra. Exhale as you release, curl the toes, shift the hips up and back, down dog. We'll take a few rounds of breath here, so feel free to explore the shape. We'll settle in, root into the right toes as you draw the left foot up, three-legged dog. With control, bring that left foot forward, planting it on the mat. We'll drop the back foot to 90 as we windmill up and find warrior 2. So the back foot is at our 90 degrees. We've got a generous bend at the right or in the front knee. Knee is in line with the toes. Arms are shoulder height, palms down, fingers together. As we gaze forward with an open heart. We'll try and leave the arms here as we straighten the front leg. Spin that foot toward the long edge of the mat. So we're now in our wide angle stance. And then what was the back foot, spin it to the short edge of the mat. Find that generous bend And we've now swapped sides. Warrior two, opposite side. Keep the shoulders at ease. One more breath here. On an exhale, release the arms, straighten that front leg, bend the toes toward the long edge of the mat. Now all of the toes are pointing toward that long edge of the mat. We'll inhale the arms up, take up as much space as you want. And then exhale to that forward fold with a wide angle stance. Hands can rest below the body. You could walk them back farther to gently deepen the stretch. Hold on to ankles, feet. Lots of variations here, whichever you choose. Notice where the weight is sitting in the feet. If you're all the way back on the heels, shift the hips forward slightly, allowing more of the weight to sit toward the front half of the foot. The heels are still connected down though. Start to engage the core as we come to half lift. We'll generously bend the right knee as we walk the hands over, lower the hips. Big stretch for the inner left leg. Lift the hips, walk the hands back through center, generous bend moves to the left side as we stretch out the inner right leg. Start to straighten the left leg as you bring hands back to center. Engage the core as you lift all the way up. Back to standing. We'll take a breath here. And then gently heel toe the feet together. Come out of that shape and we'll meet back toward the front of the mat in our Tadasana. Inhale the arms up. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. Plant the hands, step one foot back and then the other. High plank. Lower down. Use the triceps. Uncurl the toes and inhale up to your cobra. Exhale as you release. Curl the toes, shift the hips, down dog. We'll lower the knees, uncurl the toes, hips to heels, child's pose. Settle in, create a little softness for the shoulders. You can bend the elbows. The knees are together. You could wrap arms down alongside body. If the knees are wide, maybe just that elbow bend, maybe making a pillow for the head once more. Tap back into that intention that you set for class. Imagining how you can take it from the mat out into the world with you. Scan the body once more, noticing the energy that you've cultivated, the space that you've created, the strength that you've built. And you can stay here, taking a few moments for as long as you like. If we're ending together, we'll gently lift up, rotate onto a favorite hip, and find a comfortable seated spot. whatever that looks like for you today. As we draw hands together at heart center to seal in our practice, I encourage you to take kind thoughts, kind words, and those kind intentions with you from now until we meet again. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and I look forward to seeing you back on the mat next Tuesday. Bye, y'all.